Okay, so I wanted to do a shootout really on a few different microphones. At the minute, this is the Takstar one that I recommend in the equipment list, just a $29 microphone. We've then got the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus that I tend to use. And then just recently, I've got a collection of XLR mics ranging from this podcaster style Audio Technica AT 2020 and the NTG2. This has been a shotgun mic that I've had for a long time. And then recently I was watching reviews and somebody explained to me that this part of it is hollow. So actually me trying to get this mic close into me, there's that much room that is being wasted. So I was recommended this Octava microphone that is basically the same thing that just doesn't have this huge casing on the front of it. It allows me to get this in super close and should give me a better sound. Now, all of this, because it's XLR, can't come straight into the camera or even into the computer. Really, the purpose of this is very much for my live streaming. I'm okay with putting some EQ on my audio when I'm making a video for YouTube like this normally, but I can't do any of that EQ adjustment when I'm doing it live. So my thinking was I come through a mixer and I bring that in straight into the computer. But is it worth it? Is it going to make a lot of difference? Actually, bearing in mind that most people, well, very few are going to sit and listen through their headphones and really analyze the sound. Most people, typically when I'm talking to my customers or we're on a live, and I'll say, let me know who's on their phone, let me know who's on the computer. Most people are on their phone while they're watching along. Then there are people that are typically on their computers or their laptops, just using the small speakers in that. So actually, can you even tell any difference in this? Is it a big deal? Now, maybe your YouTube videos, people are going to sit and watch on a TV with a nice soundbar or speakers in their living room. Yeah, I get that that's more important. But we're talking here about live streaming. Does it make a lot of difference to the audio? So let's jump in and have a listen between these 5 different microphones, all set up very much the same. Hopefully the balance comes in right. We're not going to do anything in post with it. And I'm simply going to read the opening few lines out of Jim Collins' Good to Great. And then I'm going to be really interested to hear what your thoughts are when we come to the end of this. Okay, let's have a listen to that first mic. Okay, so this is the Octava mic. So we can see what's going on here. We've got the gain set up here. So this line coming in, we're starting up here with the gain. We've got that 3/4 of the way round. We've done nothing so far with these. And we've got the levels down here, as you can see, and then the main output. And that is just touching onto the zeros. It's not hitting onto the 6. I thought we'd need to be lower than this, but actually it seems to be working. And in Ecamm, we've got it set on 70. And we're recording in that and listening in that. So what do we think to this? So let's again just read this intro from Good to Great. Good is the enemy of great. And that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it's just so easy to settle for good life. The vast majority of companies never become great, principally because the vast majority become quite good. And that is their main problem. Now let's listen to it silently. And let's turn the aircon on. So we've got the aircon on low. What is that like? Can you hear it over my voice? Okay, so what do we think to the Octava mic? It's the smallest, it's the most compact one of the bunch. It'd be a pleasure to have it up here above me. Let's just compare this now with the others. So this is the Audio Technica AT 2020. Pretty much the same position that the Octava mic was in. It's just out of reach above me here. And it looks to be on the mixer to be a similar volume. I've actually had to just pull that gain a little bit further around, not a lot. Haven't touched the settings at the bottom. And in Ecamm, it looks to be similar volume coming in. So how different is the quality of that sound coming into here? Let's read Good to Great. Good is the enemy of great. And that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it's just too easy to settle for a good life. The vast majority of companies never become great, principally because the vast majority become quite good, and that is their main problem. Now let's have a listen to the silence. What is this like picking up background noise? And the aircon? That's the aircon on. Is that a big difference in the sound? Does it affect it when I'm talking? Okay, so that's the AT 2020. What do we think to that? We can move this around and reposition it slightly, but I think that's probably the best place that I can have it, right up there. And let's just see how this compares. Okay, so this is the Rode NTG2. So we've got this set up. Again, very similar. Haven't touched the controls at the bottom. I'm just looking for that and seeing it coming in. Just touching the 0. Maybe not quite as high on this. Maybe we need to bring that around just a fraction more. So it's sitting that 0 a little bit more. There we go. Yep. And coming in, that looks okay in Ecamm. I've got a visual cue in Ecamm with the sound levels dial. And looks to me like that's coming in. Yeah, a little bit less, if anything. I'm going to try again, pulling that gain up a bit. I think I'd rather adjust that gain at the top than be messing around with the other settings. That is just touching on the zeros. Again, let's have a look at that then. So we'll read and see what we think. Just back that off a fraction. Good is the enemy of great. And that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it is just so easy to settle for a good life. The vast majority of companies never become great, precisely because the vast majority become quite good. And that is their main problem. Okay, so that's that coming through. What is it like on the silent? And then what is it like with the aircon on? So that's the aircon on at the same setting as the others. Is that picking it up much? Interested in how well this shotgun mic works as opposed to the one without that. Okay, so what do we think to the aircon? I think it might be slightly louder. It shouldn't be, but what do we think to that? Okay, so this is the original for me and actually the most expensive, this NTG2 microphone. What are we thinking to it? Okay, so this is my Takstar. This is the £29 microphone. This is our outsider. I've been really surprised with this microphone in the past, and actually I've put this alongside the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus that you're going to hear next, and I've been really surprised at how well this stands up. So much so that this has been the main microphone that I've been recommending on my equipment list. So it'll be interesting again to see how this stands up. Is this really being left behind by these XLR mics going through our mixer, or actually can we still achieve the same results with such a cheap mic? So let's have a read again. Good is the enemy of great, and that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it's just so easy to settle for a good life. The vast majority of companies never become great, precisely because the vast majority become quite good, and that is their main problem. How well does this microphone cope when it's silent in here? And what's it like with our air conditioning on? Just keen to see again how well it picks up that ambient sound. So that's another microphone compared. Let's put it into the mix and see how well these come out. So this is the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. This is the microphone that I've been using up to now until I went and bought all these new ones. What actually does it sound like? Is this really falling behind? Do we need to go through this mixer? Interested just to see how this stands up against the rest. So let's read our chapter again. Good is the enemy of great. And that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it's just so easy to settle for a good life. The vast majority of companies never become great, precisely because the vast majority become quite good. And that is the main problem. So what do we think to that? And let's do our little silent test. Now, what is that like when this is silent in here? And what's it like now with the air conditioning on? How well does that cope? Would it be, is it better than the others or worse? Interested just hearing what it's like picking up ambient sound. So what do we think to this Rode VideoMic Pro Plus? In fairness, it is the dearest mic of our lineup, but remember, we don't have to go through a mixer. It's extremely simple how it plugs straight into the camera, and we're going to have no problems with sync either. So let's see how they compare. Good is the enemy of great, and that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it's just so easy to settle for a good life. The vast majority of companies never become great, precisely because the vast majority become quite good. And that is the main problem. So there we go, that's our 5 microphones, and I'm back here now on my $29 Takstar. I did just have a quick listen before I sent it off to get edited, and don't worry, no, we're not going to be doing anything in post to this. We just want to hear that sound come through. We'll put them side by side, as you've already heard. I'm getting myself confused now. This is like a time machine. I'm talking to you, a thing that's already happened that we haven't done yet. But I would love to hear from you. What do you think? Could you tell a difference between these? If so, which was your favorite? And the big question for me is it worth all this extra fuss with XLR cables and a mixer and things? Does it really make that much difference in a live and a recording into the computer rather than this $29 mic? But could I ask you, please, by all means, have a listen to this with some headphones, but can I also get you to play this through your computer speakers and through your phone? Is it only something that we pick up if we're being really fussy and listening through headphones? I'm not trying to dismiss these other microphones, but if I can get a very close result out of a $29 microphone, is it worth all of this? Now, that seems a little bit ironic. I've just realized I read a line to you from here saying about good is the enemy of great. And are we trying to get great audio or good audio? So maybe that wasn't really the thing I should have read. As I said earlier, if I'm making a video for YouTube or a course or something else, I can bring it into editing software and I can put it through the EQ. I can change it around in there and fine tune the audio as long as it's coming in clean. That's why I'm saying this is more to do with the live streaming, because potentially I want to change that EQ around before it goes out. I've said enough. Really interested in hearing what you think to this. I will make some follow-on videos of the mics individually. I do want to play a bit more with this mixer as well and really adjust that equalizer and see, you know, how we can get a different sound out of it. I'll do the same thing and do a screen recording coming down so you can see what I'm doing. But let's decide on our favorite first, and we'll take it from there. So more of these videos coming really soon. If you've got other microphones that you think we should be having a look at, by all means, let us know about them. Be sure to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And I'd love to see you in another video. Thank you.